Hi everyone, it's Meade Skeleton with another vlog chat for you. This is serious confession booth time. Well, I don't know if you call it that, but this is the story about my obesity. Yeah, how did I get so fat and for so long? Before I start, I just want to say I'm feeling a lot better. I did have a fever earlier and I rebuked it in Jesus Christ's name, and it is gone. It is gone. And I tested negative for the flu, but I do have a cold. But luckily my father had his flu shot, so I guess if that works, I don't know. I don't know if it works or not. You know how they could be. So anyway, I just want to share my obesity story. How did I get so fat? Why did I get so fat? And I think it has to go back to my early childhood. Go way back to almost the time I was born, September 1980. I was a year old or so, and I was severely ill. My mother called the doctor and she said, you know, my son's very ill. I want you to see him. That's back when sometimes doctors made house calls. And he said, just wait out till morning. And she said, no, I'm taking you to the hospital right now. Well, she kind of saved my life because I was severely dehydrated, and had she not brought me in as soon as she did, I could have been really bad off, possibly dead. So anyway, she saved my life, but they took me in, and what happened was I got gastroenteritis from a staph infection. I was brought in earlier because my mother believed I'd swallowed some bleach, which I think I did, a teeny bit of bleach. So they pumped my stomach and I got a staph infection. Well, she took me in, and I remember hearing the nurse say, I think he's going to make it, I think he's going to be all right. And the doctor said he's a strong one. And I guess it's because of my dramatic build, you know. My mother stayed the night with me, and lo and behold, I did get much better. They brought me back to life, gave me IV fluid, and I was much better. It took a couple weeks. But you may not believe this. From that age on to about the age of 3, I was underweight. I was actually a very thin child because I had lost so much weight. Well, my mother, being a natural mother, her instinct was, she was very concerned that I was underweight. So when I was about 3 or so, she started really feeding me. She said, you gotta eat, and I want you to eat this. And when I started eating, I just developed an incredible appetite. After those first 2 years when I was kind of sick, or after they affected me, my health, I got so... a love of food developed. Well, when I would eat, she would call relatives on the phone and praise me for eating. And I got positive reinforcement. And the sky was the limit. Chocolate cake, peanut butter banana sandwiches, all kinds of great stuff, you know. And I just got praised for eating. So what happened was, by the time I was, then I developed a very healthy child. I was very athletic. The time I was 7 or 8, though, I started getting a little bit chubby. And by the time I was 9 or 10, I was getting on the verge of what they call husky. So, I don't know if they still have this now, but back when I was a child in the 1980s, for overweight children, they had a husky section. And by the time I was 10, I was wearing husky pants. So I would say by the time I was 10, I was about 10 or 15 pounds overweight. But I still looked very healthy. Well, what happened next? My mother died when I was 11. And that was very hard for me. So what did I do? I turned to food again. And so by the time I was 12, I became legitimately obese. So by the time I was 12, I was about 5'3", I guess, 5'2", 5'3". I don't know exactly. 5'2", 5'3", and I weighed 170 pounds or so. Ooh, well, I should have been about 120, or maybe 130. So I was about 60, 70 pounds overweight. The weight piled on every year. Every year got worse, and the bullying got really bad. And then when I was 17 years old, I decided to go on weight loss drugs, which was a big mistake, putting a teenager on speed. But I went on a weight loss drug cocktail called, it was Meade and something else called Fin. not finasteride. It was phentermine and something else. It starts with an F, drug name. It was a diet weight loss cocktail that was sweeping the nation in the mid to late 90s. And so I was still a biter, but I went to the doctor and he said, "Yeah, this will get the weight off you." And surely it did. I mean, it destroyed my appetite. So I had to force myself to eat a yogurt. Like all I could eat all day was maybe a piece of cheese. I had no appetite, and it made my mouth very dry. But I dropped 60 plus pounds in 4 months. So I was losing 20 pounds a month. And I got down to 217 or so, which at the time I was 5'9", and that sounds like a lot, but I was getting really close to being what I call a normal weight. But then I got kind of panicky because I'd never been that lean. I was probably 20% body fat or so, but I'd never been that lean before that, and I couldn't handle it really, and it felt odd. And then, but that's not all. They declared fen was deadly, so the diet cocktail they put me on was deadly. So there goes that. So by the time I was 18, I was off the fen drug, and then by the time I was 20, the weight came right back. So within 2 years, I put on all the weight. So 5'9.5" or so, and 285 pounds. So I'd always go back to around 280, 285, and then finally, I went on a drug called Meade in 2001, and then I dropped the weight again. And then I got really lean, well, like down to 215 or so, but I did not look overweight at all. And I felt healthy, but then they said Meade is a dangerous drug. So then I just let everything go, and I said, you know what, I can't lose weight without these diet pills. I just can't do it. And then finally, when I was 25 years old, and after I met someone who really helped me, encouraged me to start exercising, I started the slow process of losing weight without drugs. And I did. So by the time I was between 25 and 30, I dropped the weight again. And I went back down to around 230, 220. And I lost about 20 pounds a year doing that. But also I wasn't as sick from Lyme disease then, so I had more energy to exercise and do stuff. And then when I was 30, I got really sick and I dropped weight again. And then I had, the odd part is I never get that thin, but when I drop weight, I always start thinking I'm dying. Because that's what happened the first time. The first time in my life when I dropped a lot of weight, I was dying. So I have a trauma about losing weight associated with that memory of when I had gastroenteritis. And I got so thin, real thin. So I think my problem with obesity is that for me, being obesity is health. Because when I had gastroenteritis as a young child, an infant really, I was at death's door. And so when I lose weight, when I lose a little bit of weight, I'm okay. But when I get down closer to my ideal weight, that's when I panic and say, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't be losing weight this easily. I must be dying. I must have a terminal illness. So I just want to share the story with me is I think that's why I have such a hard time getting down to my weight. However, I realize that that is so far from the truth, that being overweight is probably going to kill me. So I do want to get down. So I have encouraging news is that I lost 20 pounds since last year, this time last year. I'm 20 pounds lighter than I was this time last year. However, it's a lot more than I'd like to be because on top of that, I had gained another 20 on top of what I wanted to lose. So I actually lost progress over the last 2 years. However, I'm not giving up, folks. And it's a daily struggle with me because I really like to snack on chocolate. And I love like Southern food, you know, I love that. But I could learn to live without snacks. I think snacking is probably my biggest problem, is snacking. And I can learn to not do that. But I think that the biggest hurdle is going to be for me to accept that when I lose weight and do start looking closer to normal, that it doesn't mean I'm dying. It actually means I'm getting healthier. So that's my biggest goal right now. And so I don't blame my mother for this, but I just think that the pattern of overeating started very early in my life. And being obese at 12, that the statistics say I will be obese for the rest of my life. And I want to change that because I know I can get down, to a normal place. Anyway, I hope this video wasn't too long. That's just the story in a nutshell of why I became obese. And now the other hurdle is, what can I do? So I know what to do, really. It's just going to be, for me, it's all about how to deal with the psychological issues. Because I got a lot of messed up psychological stuff, But thank you all for watching. And you're going to see a thinner me. In a year from now, you're going to see a very lean, mean skeleton. And I know I've said that many times before. But you will, because I know that it's now or never. I mean, I can't wait any longer. I want to do it while I'm still relatively young. I don't want to wait another decade. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Till next time, Meade Skeleton. Go to my website at meadskeletonsplace.com. Bye.